switching, let's say, the first external speaking slot. I'm sure you have heard all about the subject of process mining. So in other words, it's about uncovering potentials in your processes. And we have been having a long-standing and very successful partnership with Marvec and Jan Birkholz from Marvec. And again, Elmar are going to present a very exciting topic. It's called human-centric process mining. And I don't want to give you too much information, just not to take away some of the excitement. So I give Elmar and Jan then immediately the word.
Thank you, Ansgar.
Yeah, thank you, Ansgar. So give me a second. Is it working here? Yeah, so now, and we should also see you. And yeah, let us start in the next meeting. And the topic is human-centric process mining, as Ansgar already said. And Jan, yeah, before we explain what human-centric process mining is, please explain us briefly what process mining is in general sense. I think not all our contributors know what it is in detail, and then we can go and explain our journey.
Yeah, so maybe the journey basically is a little bit contrary to the business process modeling journey. So in one hand, you're drawing the map, you're thinking about your processes and you're writing it down, and then you follow your processes. What we're doing here with process mining is basically the other side of the medal. We are looking at digital footprints that are done with every interaction of your IT systems within your processes. And then we are bringing them together in a so-called event log, and we recreate the as-is process in a process, as we call it, a process analyzer. Basically, it's a picture, or it's you can analyze this picture. It is completely searchable, and it's basically a way of analyze your processes based on the as-is footprints that you have in your source systems. That might sound a little bit abstract in the first picture, but let's go to make it a little bit more clear. What I have here is a very simple visualization. So I have one case. In this case, one process is a purchasing process. So I come from create purchase order item and so on till I clear my invoice. So I start with buying, then I get my goods, and then I pay it. Basically, it's pretty straightforward. And what you see in your source system, you can, of course, everyone can say, I can look case by case through my source system. That's absolute valid approach. And that is basically what we can see here. We have a purchase order item, then a specific number. In this case, it's an SAP purchase. Then I see different activities, what have been done, how we interacted with the system, and then attached a timestamp. Now, what a cool thing about process mining is, and where you might say, oh yeah, I can do that as well. What you can't do with the normal way of looking at it, to aggregate that, and layer it over another. So what we see here, we see now the aggregated view of the total number of, in this case, 134,000 cases. And we see also how many process variants went through. And on the right side, I can also see how complex your actual processes are just based on the as-is footprints that every single person created in the source systems. Because this view is so complicated, we normally look at the aggregated view of something like the top 10 process variants. Those top 10 process variants in this case cover up about 70% of all the process instances. What I can do now is, of course, see and align together with my business process management, and that integration we will see later. How we can now see how my as-is processes are working compared to my should-be process towards my modeled processes. And of course, what I can do now here is I can see and quantify where along my process path inefficiencies happened and occurred. And then, of course, with corrective actions, together with my business process management tool and solution, then initiate changes towards my process in order to make it slimmer, faster, and more efficiently. Yeah, that maybe as a very first brief jump and explanation what process mining basically is. So it's an objective. We try to say we say it's an objective view. That's of course, yeah, we know both sides of the medal. It's the most objective view that we can extract out of the data as of today. Yeah, but the real business value, as we believe, comes in the combination. Yeah, and that's what we will show later. We have, together with Symbio World, created an integrated connectivity, because both platforms, both solutions believe in open API, and we have a seamless integration into your Symbio World, and can then extract the business process modeled process models and integrate it in a so-called conformance check. And this is what we will show you later in the live demo. Very brief and few words about us. Yeah, I don't want to make it too much about Marvec. So basically, we are founded about 12 years ago. We are situated in Karlsruhe, and process mining is with our path with about 7 years. And we are having a strong analytics focus. Yeah, so we were founded 4 former SAP managers with the strong focus of support businesses, very analytics minded. Yeah, so we have analytics and data analytics in our DNA, and that's why a step towards process mining, which is just an expansion of a classical data analytics view, was very close. Yeah, and the very interesting thing is, as you saw, the event log looked quite simple. Yeah, so case ID activity timestamp. That's the beauty about process mining. No matter which process you are looking at, ticket process, purchasing, sales, production, logistics, whatsoever, it always contains the same 3 columns, and always the same structure. That's why vast domains of different usage is in place already. So we have companies that are doing web analytics with it. We have companies that are doing HR processes with it, or IoT processes, or claiming processes, or loan processes, and so on. Yeah, or customer journey analytics. And now, in the next 2 slides, I want to explain you a little bit where to come from, because I was talking about it's so easy. Yeah, it's only this target structure, but of course you need to come to a target structure like the so-called event log that we saw in the first place. And so what are we doing? And this is quite similar, or it's basically the same than with every other data analytics approach as well. So we need to free the data out of the source systems, and this is really cool, as we are working on a market-leading platform here. We're having more than 150 connectors already in place to nearly basically any source system to free the data. Yeah, then of course you must find the relevant data and understand the data. Yeah, and the nice thing is, and that's also where we see basically the advantage of our approach, is that we have this one platform, an all-in-one platform approach. So we don't need any third-party tool that extracts or that does the data pipeline for us. Yeah, or we don't need any other data warehouse tool that transforms the data for us and gives it to us in the format that we want to have it. We can do it all by ourselves. If the client says, okay, we want to do it independently, we have our own tools for it, all fine. Yeah, and then the next phase, and that is where the market is heading to, and Elmar and Oliver were referring to as well, is of course now you need to make it actionable. Yeah, a BPMN tool, the same as a process mining tool, must not be an expert tool. Yeah, it must be, and it must work as a participation for the entire corporation. Yeah, and what we can do now is we derive actions. Yeah, in terms of thresholds or in terms of logic. Yeah, that as soon as a certain process pattern appears, we initiate an action. An action can be as simple as an alert, notification, email, but can be as complex as initiating a complete workflow, creating tickets, or posting actions into your Microsoft or SAP backend system. And this is basically why I think we have a really cool sweet spot together with Symbio World, because we both believe in this platform approach and the integration of different tools to it. Yeah, so if you're thinking about integrating advanced analytics or AutoML onto your data that we created, yeah, the data model that we created with process mining, you can do it in here. Yeah, also the integration that we will right in a few minutes see within the live demo, the integration into Symbio World. Yeah, it was created by us, of course. It was developed, but it was a really minor effort. Yeah, it was really fast, and you will see, if you are not familiar, that this is a process mining tool within Symbio. Yeah, and it's a different solution. An end user wouldn't even know. Yeah, and that's basically the cool thing. Like Oliver was referring to, we believe also in seamless integration into the leading platforms, and we can adapt to it whatever the client sees as the leading platform, basically. Good, then that was it in really brief words. Emma, please. I think you're muted.
Thank you. Now you should hear me. Let us now explain how we will combine the both solutions in the end. And once again, we already explained what is our idea of the business map, or the Google Maps for business. So in Symbio, you have in the end all the map data, you know, and together with process mining, we can now give you the best path through your company. So that is the idea behind our two technologies. Yeah. So when you see the next slide, you see what we see normally in a let me say process mining process goes through the complete company. So that is an end-to-end process from left to right, what you normally see if you do an analyze. But what we have in business process management, we have all these different departments like head of procurement or logistic or accounting. And normally, or if someone says, you can compare these two worlds with one BPMN file or with one process, that's not really the reality. So we need something to map this both worlds. And the idea is here, we can see on the next slide, and I will also show it then in the tool, that we use in the end a task or an object, let me say it in these words, to map the activity from the process mining with our tasks or process steps in business process management. And how it looks like in Symbio, you will see now. I hope you can see my screen. Just a second. Okay, now you should see it. So what we have done here in Symbio, we import all the activities from one case, in this example, the procure to pay case, which will be analyzed in the process mining tool. So here the NPM Marvec process mining activities can be imported, and then you can map this to your processes. Yeah, you see it as normally in Symbio, it is mapped here to a process step, create purchase order item, and from here we map the in the end the task or the activity from the process mining. And it's clear in our business process management we have more than the activities from the system. We have also manual tasks, and that gives you in the end the full picture. You will see later if we have both tools together. And One advantage what we can do if we combine these tools is, for example, we see a lot of more informations in process mining. For example, which role is responsible for this task, yeah, or which other IT systems are related. And it's clear, as Jan already explained, what we define in our world is, in the end, the happy path or the valid path in the end. And now, if you compare this to the analysis, you can do a lot of nice things. I will shortly show it how it looks to you. Here we will shortly show. That is in the end our end-to-end process. We will now analyze in the process mining tool, and as you see, when I switch here to process analyzer, it is directly integrated, and currently we have no happy path, so it's nothing here. And Jan will now show you how it works if you activate or synchronize the activities, and the magic will start.
I'm muted, correct? Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so now I start exactly where Elmar dropped out. Yeah, so what we can see here is now a seamless integration of Marvec process mining into Symbio. Yeah, and the cool thing is, of course, everything that you see here is completely interactive, so it does work like you were in the application that I just showed you some minutes ago. And as we are having here, the normal approach, you would work with a BPMN tool and a process mining tool. Yeah, both would not talk to each other, both would work side by side. In this case, integrated, but not working together. Yeah, and what we now did is we created a seamless integration. So what we can do is just think about it. Yeah, we now have the capability to quantify and to measure how conformant a process is based on the as is versus the designed path. Yeah, and exactly about this journey, I want to look into with you together. So I even do it live. Yeah, so I have it open here, and in a few minutes we will have our happy path here integrated, and it's completely no code. Yeah, so I choose an application from which I'm allowed or to which I'm able to load data. Yeah, and then I say load Symbio data. And what we have here basically in the backend is a REST connectivity directly into Symbio. Yeah, and what I can do now is to load different target processes towards my as-is process. And these target processes are directly pulled out of Symbio. Yeah, and those are pulled out because we are having the complete end-to-end process, like Elmar explained, the manual process steps, but also mapped the process steps where we know we do have a digital footprint. Yeah, and what I can do now is automatically then load those happy paths based on those where we have a digital footprint. Yeah, and say I create now a new mapping towards my application, and I see my MPM activities, which are called create purchase order requisition, records goods received, and so on. And on the other hand, I have my BPMN activities that are imported now from Symbio. Yeah, and what the system does is automatically identify the right activities over a fuzzy search. Yeah, in this case, it's a fuzzy search, but it's very well possible that your BPMN activities might be called a little bit different than your process mining activities, and that's why we have here a drop down. Then you can that you can once manually align it and map basically those different activities, and also can say, oh yeah, we thought we'd have a digital footprint in Symbio, but we now witness we don't have one, so we exclude this BPMN activity from my MPM activity. And as soon as I have my mapping applied, I say apply mapping, and I continue my journey. But what's now being said, I can rename my happy path. I will not do it now, but it says basically create purchase order requisition, create purchase order item, receive order confirmation, and record invoice receipt. That is my should be process. And the cool thing is, yeah, as Elmar was referring to, it can be very complex, such a modulation, yeah. And of course, there can be different should be processes or different model processes for different dimensions. Yeah, we call dimensions basically, do you have within your very larger organization, of course, you have different company codes, yeah, or even different companies maybe applying different should be processes, yeah, and we can respect that as well. So we can say this should be process is only respectively to a certain company, yeah, and I will not apply that now. That is something for another demo, yeah. And then I say I apply those happy paths, and those happy paths that I now applying are loading through, yeah. This now takes, I think, 1.5 minutes, and I will now recapitulate what we have done. So we have looked, or Elmar looked into Symbio, looked how the process was modeled, or even designed the process, of course, within Symbio. Then also mapped the activities where we know we do have digital footprints. Then we have integrated a process mining solution towards Symbio. And now we started being able to speak from the process mining side to the business process modeling side in this process BPM import wizard, as we are saying we want to pull out the should be information from Symbio and splice it into our as is information from process mining. And what is now calculating and running is basically the conformance checking, as we call it. So the system is now automatically creating a mapping between the as is process steps and the should be process steps, and will show us within the Symbio interface how that does look like. Yeah, and it should be run through in a few seconds. Yeah, that's basically the workflow we just went through. And the cool thing is, yeah, as an end user, that is looking within Symbio, they will not even know necessarily what solution we have here. So you see still no happy path. I will reload this application, my frame, and it should now show the integrated happy path. And this is exactly what we are seeing. We see now my average happy path fitness is 27.26%. So it's not that good. And what we are seeing as well is that we have here the create purchase order requisition activity, not even in our, as we see them, top 10 process variants. So we see it marked red, and as well we see edges that are like named as our should be directly follow from A to B, not even existing in those dotted golden lines, as well as what our most skipped activities are. Yeah, so in this case, 99.17% of our create purchase requisition item, what we say in the BPMN is a should be process step. It should be included in every purchase order, is skipped. Yeah, and so we can directly pinpoint where along our model process we do have issues, and then derive actions towards how do we solve that problem in the next phase. And all of that, as you can see, directly in our Symbio interface.
Yes, and the good thing is, to say this again, you need to do the mapping only once a time in the end, yeah, and then you can run this analysis as often as you want, yeah. So and then you can really see if your processes are changed over time, and if your, let me say, organizational changes you do after you found your analysis here already works in the real life. Yeah,
and I think exactly that's a very good point. That is basically then the essence of it. Yeah, we can not only initiate the change, but as we are working here with an analytics application, this gets data all over and over again in basically near real time. And so you can also benchmark how your processes improved over the time. Yeah. So you can then basically see if the actions you derived out of what you've seen turned out to be good or not.
Yeah, perfect. Very nice. I think that is, I hope, very interesting for a lot of customers. So yeah, if you have questions, it's clear you can write it down. If you are interested in more details, you can also contact us or Jan, that's clear. And yeah, we hope you have a little bit new knowledges now about the combination of process mining and business process management. And yeah, now I hand over to Ansgar for the next topic.
Thank you, Jan and
Thank you so much for having us, for having me, and thank you. Bye bye.
Yeah.